One.
Folks, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. It's 8:55, and we're going to try to get a little serious with the second half of the show. It's Wednesday. I went to the Blue Ridge City Council. It was a long day yesterday, Tuesday. It wasn't bad. We had a great show yesterday morning. We had a lot of great information yesterday on the show. It's actually a show I wish you would check out. Again, it's in our archives, fyntv.com. Just hit on demand there, and you will see the archives. You can actually hit the month and put in the month you want to look at, and anything we've done is up there, fyntv.com on demand, and also on our YouTube channel. Yesterday was a great show, Amanda. I thought information-wise, it was a great show. We had Congressman Doug Collins, and it is a show I would actually air again because it was timeless, because we got into in-depth, Amanda, I think you'll agree, on the NDRC and how the census, the NDRC, how they are targeting the 2018. You talk about Russians targeting an election, right? I mean, think about that, Amanda. Just yesterday's show alone, all we hear from the media out there that's a part of the deep state, which I do believe in, all we hear from them is how Russia, what are we doing? Think about this line, Amanda. I really want you to think about this, and I want you to take this in, okay? Every time you turn on the news or you turn on something, they are pushing you, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, all of them, and saying to everybody they interview, what are we doing to safeguard? Now listen to this close, folks. You need to pay attention out there, because you've heard this over and over. What are we doing to safeguard the American elections from Russian influence or outside influence? I'll say that, Russian influence in 2018. That's all you hear, right? Safeguard the 2018 elections from Russian influence, right?
Yep. I
ask you, America, the real influence that we know of, the real influence that we are aware of, the real influence that has tampered with elections, the real influence that has actually performed voter registration fraud, and all the above, what are we doing? What are we doing to stop and prevent the influence of our 2018 elections by the NDRC? What are we doing to stop the influence of our 2018 elections by the George Soros gang? What are we doing to stop the influence on our elections by the deep state? Russia's code word to throw you off. 21 states, okay? 21 states. Now listen to me, damn it. You better listen to me. Jeb Johnson, or whatever the hell his name is, okay? He's the former Homeland Security Director, okay? And Kirsten, I don't know Kirsten's last name. She is now the Homeland Security Director. Both of them under oath, under testimony to Congress, I think last week. The question: do you know of one vote? Do you know of one vote being changed in the election by Russian influence any way whatsoever? That's not the verbatim question, but that was the question. Both, even Jay Johnson and Kirsten, whatever her name is, both Trump, Obama, had to look at Congress and say, no. No. That throws out all your Russian influence, all your Russian bots, all your Russian narrative. Everything Russian is gone, including the dressing. Gone. The answer is no. We found 21 states had been affected, they had gotten in the system of 21 states, or had some 21 states They've breached the system, but they can't find anything done. Period. But we have voter fraud. Did you find Russian voter fraud? No. We have voter fraud. They want illegals. They will not allow identification. On the deep state side, voter fraud. We can prove it. Voter registration fraud. We can prove it. Wanting to put voting machines in the prisons. Altering voting machines. We know that in Philadelphia, you turn on the machine, it's already got 125 votes. We have found every single bit of evidence of voter fraud, election tampering, influence. But never, you will never hear a CNN commentator, you will never hear anybody in MSNBC say, or the little note on the bottom of the screen, what are we doing to prevent the NDRC, the George Soros, the MoveOn.org, Media Matters? What are we doing to prevent this deep state corruption from influencing the 2018 elections? Nothing. But Trump puts one question on the census. Put up the picture. One question on the census. Are you a damn citizen? They freaked out. They're going to sue. One question. Not, are you Russian? You know? Did you know somebody that owned a Russian bot? No, that's not on the census. Just, are you a citizen? The law provides that they can ask if you are legally in the country or a citizen. Period. But the census, you don't have to answer that. How many's living in the house? 3. That's it. That's all you got. Your constitutional rights say you don't have to answer these questions. You have a Fifth Amendment. You do not have to answer the questions. The government knocks on the door. You don't have to answer anything. But we put a question on there. Are you a citizen of the United States? They freaked out. We're trying to do things to protect our elections against fraud. But no, California needs those votes. Hillary Clinton needs those votes. Elizabeth Warren needs those votes. Because what happens is we already have more registered voters than legal citizens in these communities and in these states. Los Angeles is what now? I mean, 6/10 or 7/10 illegal? I don't know. 50-50? I mean, I may be off there. My God, they may fact check me like they do Trump, but still the point is they need the votes. We ask about the census. They've gone nuts. It's every day. Pay attention to this. Wake up, America. Every single day. What are we going to do to prevent the outside influence from Russia? And every day the news comes on and some damn piece of garbage congressman on the Democrat side, for the most part, unless if you're Charlie Dent on the Republican side, runs and says, we've done absolutely nothing. We can't even have the discussion on what we're going to do to safeguard our elections from the Russians. Look, damn it. You have 2 Homeland Security, heads of Homeland Security looked at Congress and said, not one vote. On the other side, we have every single thing of proof. Voter fraud, voter registration fraud. But think of that. Replace what are we going to do to prevent outside interference from Russia in our midterm elections? Damn media, Anderson Cooper, Chuck Todd, Martha Raddatz, George Stephanopoulos, too. What are we going to do to prevent the corrupt deep state influence over our elections? I preach it every day. Now, that's how I got to going there. Because I think yesterday's show, Amanda, has some very good information that puts a lot of it together, don't you?
Yes, you're right.
Thank you. Okay, look. Anyhow, I didn't want to get like this. That's why I opened the show saying, look, let's talk about fake boobs. It'll be easier. It won't set me off.
Oh, my gosh.
Well?
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you know, I'm trying to open. I think Trump can write children's books. We're talking fake boobs. We're talking punching back. Stormy Daniels is not my lover. She says that I'm the one. I tried to open up, just lighten the show. But this is what I'm up to. Now, Sheriff calls sanctuary state bill very political. This is Tucker Carlson. Sometimes I got to take the hat off. All right? And I got to just give it to somebody. Last night, Tucker had this sheriff on the show. Show the sheriff of Broward County, the cowardly sheriff, the cowardly lion of Broward County. Didn't I send you this picture? Scott Israel? Okay. Scott, if you're out there listening, this is what a sheriff with a set of acts like. Okay? This is what a sheriff acts like that has a set. Okay, let's play that video of the sheriff from Orange County, California.
Orange County in California, she says the state's effort to become a sanctuary state is not good policy. It's about sticking it to the administration. Sheriff Hutchins joins us tonight. So, Sheriff, give us the parameters of this. This would basically put California as a state in active opposition to federal immigration law. Is that an overstatement?
I don't think that's an overstatement. You know, we've been cooperating with ICE and with the federal government for many, many, many years, very cooperatively, very effectively. And we're talking about serious crimes, serious criminals who have committed a crime. They've been tried here, they've done their time, and we've been notifying ICE of these individuals so that they can go through deportation proceedings. Senate Bill 54, Senator De Leon said this is the only thing he can think of to do to stop the quote-unquote Trump deportation machine. And that is clearly not an issue. That is not an issue. This is a totally political issue, and it does not take into account the public safety of Californians, which I deeply care about, and that is the real issue. There's no need for this bill. Things have been working fine without it. The author has stated that this will prevent local law enforcement from doing immigration enforcement on the streets. We never have done immigration enforcement on the streets. We have no desire to do that. And we've not been asked to do that by the Trump administration. So this bill would prohibit me as a sheriff from notifying ICE of someone who's in custody for potentially felony, driving under the influence, domestic violence, human trafficking, rape of an unconscious person. I would not be able to notify them. They would be released to the street. And then what will happen is ICE will go out. They're not going to let these people go. They're going to go out and they're going to do search warrants on homes. And then people who are here illegally or undocumented and have not committed crimes, they're going to get scooped up too. So they're not. This bill does not do what it says it does. It places additional residents at risk, law enforcement, perhaps people who are here undocumented but have not committed crimes. So ICE is still trying to focus on those, you know, the priority enforcement, those individuals. Who have repeatedly committed offenses, re-entered the country, have criminal records, and the fact that we can't notify them and have to release them to the street is not acceptable to me.
So, I mean, it's not like illegal aliens in California are having a tough time anyway. California has more illegals than any state by far. I mean, a huge percentage of your population is there illegally. So what was the need that gave rise to this bill, or is it purely a symbolic act aimed at the administration?
It's a symbolic act aimed at the administration, in my opinion, but more importantly, it places Californians at risk of being impacted by these criminals who are getting released to the street.
Wait, so if the state of California can say to the feds, we're just ignoring your law, then why can't Orange County say to the state of California, we're ignoring your law? I mean, would you abide by these terms, or would you notify the feds if you apprehended an illegal?
You know, we've already asked the question. We've asked legal counsel. Cal State Sheriffs, which I'm a member, has asked legal counsel, and we would be subject to being prosecuted if we didn't follow the state law. Oh. But it puts us in a you make a great point. It puts us in a terrible position of violating federal law, not cooperating with federal authorities. And we work on task forces with ICE. We work on a sexual exploitation task force. This bill would require us to report everything we do to the Attorney General of the state of California. These are very great cooperative task forces that deal with a lot of crime. Our registered sex offenders, a lot of those are undocumented aliens. This would really impact our ability to fight crime in our communities. So
California is cool with ignoring federal law, but ignore their laws, and you're in trouble. Good luck, Sheriff Hutchins. We'll welcome you in the East Coast.
Back to me. I just want you to hear California is good with ignoring, the state is good at ignoring federal law, but let you ignore state law and they'll put you in jail. And that is it Xavier Becerra is the Attorney General of the state of California. He said yesterday, you see, they are in violation of the California law, and they will actually be able to put that sheriff in jail, put the sheriff in jail for not following California law. They actually can be removed from office or whatever. The sheriff is what you just heard. They're breaking the law, and you don't realize that this world's gone crazy, especially the United States of America. I'm going to take a brief break. I'm your host, BKP. We're going to come back, talk a little more about that, and then it'll be time for 9:30. See if Amanda has anything going on, and talk a little more about Reality Day. And I do want to make a comment or two around 9:45 on the Blue Ridge City Council meeting last night. So I'm your host, BKP. Take us to break.